So, if we had metrics you could really understand about this, and that were verifiable in some way. If we had an open source ad call, where this were possible, where you could now buy ads easily in places and see how it works, and because there's no scarcity, it's going to be damn cheap. You can find your highest value. Then, if we just had that alone, you could come along with analysis with other means and say what's best and what to do. Now, what we need on top of that, I think, is trust networks. You need someone to pick these things and to know that they're real, they're human, for one thing, they're not a machine, and that they're trusted and they're decent and they're responsible and all kinds of good stuff. And that can be done by an agency, that can be done by a media company, that can be done by the network itself. And then on top of that, the fourth piece is probably we need an auction marketplace for this. And if we do that, we expose the true value on both sides of these things. And my argument is that we'll compete with Google AdSense, because right now we're handing over the entire advertising industry to Google. Because it's not their fault, they're just stepping in where there's a void, and they're filling it brilliantly. So that's the blog side. I now argue that on the new television side, small TV, we've got the opportunity to do this now. And it's even more important there because the ad industry has wanted to turn the internet into television from the very beginning. And now it's finally happening. Now they can get TV, yay! It's not what they think it is, but it's still television. So we need the same thing, we need standard metrics, but it's even harder there because you want to be able to take that video you made and get metrics on it across YouTube, Google Video, Blip, Rever, and so on. I wrote a column in The Guardian 2 weeks ago about Viacom and pulling its clips off YouTube. And I lambasted them as you'd expect, because that's kind of obnoxious populist shtick I'll do. And I understand the perspective, certainly. And I know Mika Salmi, who's there at Viacom now, and so off the record, I talked to him about it. He's now corporate, so nobody can talk on the record. And the problem is that what Viacom did was protect its copyright, fine. And they want revenue for those videos, absolutely fine. You've got to figure that out. But they also gave up incredibly valuable free marketing. My 15-year-old son and webmaster, JakeJarvis.com, he and I were exchanging email last night about putting up the spam filter on all the new blogs I'm doing. So that's the father-son conversations we have. He came down one night about 4 weeks ago and brought the laptop to the dinner table, which is, yes, how bloggers live. And wanted to show me a clip that he found on YouTube of Jon Stewart, my hero, fake news, comedy news guy in the US, interviewing my son's hero, Bill Gates. And there's a straight line in there, but I won't even go there. And so I said, yeah, it's great, it's great. And so that was how my son discovered Stewart. He'd never discovered Stewart before because he's not up watching TV at 11 at night, or if he is, he's doing his homework and not watching TV. So that occurred to me just in a second that my son never channel surfs. He never browses television. In fact, people don't browse the internet either. We're very purposeful, right? So there's no way he was ever going to discover Jon Stewart. This is how he discovered Jon Stewart. And the only way he's going to do it is if someone recommends something. And the power that Viacom gave up was not having clips on the internet. The power they gave up was their audience marketing. It's the trio knots rule, right? If your own audience recommends you, that's nirvana, right? That's the whole point. That's what a brand is, right? So why would you cut that off? How do you hand over power? You hand over power by letting the people take control of your brand. They already have control of it. You should know it. They've always owned the brand.
Is it true also that if in the marketing situation, you're going to have sort of a 30-minute, 45-minute show, whatever, you're probably going to prefer to watch that on a TV than a PC at the moment? I mean,
there's a couple arguments for that. Yes, I think, except that line is going to disappear with Apple iTV and things like that, right? So the line between big screen, little screen is going to become fairly meaningless. And I watch whole sitcoms on my iPod. Showtime's Weeds, which is a great show, I watched entirely on the Path Train in New York. It was fun. So that argument, I think, has been true for a while, will go away. The other argument that Viacom makes is, well, no, we are tchotchke TV. We're little bits. So if you take the bit, that's our whole value. That's not really true, because Stewart is a collection of bits, and you want to see all those bits.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
And if they could monetize that bit, it would be moot. The argument would be moot. Right? Fine, let's distribute new ways. Yeah.
I got about 10 years ago, me and a friend, we made this TV show called Mr. Hell. Right. And it was about a double. And it went on BBC 2, 13 episodes. And it went bankrupt. We lost the rights. And the production company went bankrupt. We lost the rights. And Mr. Hell didn't exist. We didn't own Mr. Hell anymore. And finally, we got Mr. Hell back. And what we're going to do is we've got like 6 hours of content for that one series. And we're going to chop it up into little 3-minute pieces. And then at the end, we're going to say MrHellShow.com at the end, because we go out there, we think we'll have a couple thousand pieces out there, all going viral.
Right.
Eventually, we're going to say, hey, anybody want Mr. Hell's kind of advertising critter? Pay us $1 million. And that's going to happen.
You're going to sell Mr. Hell's soul. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I couldn't resist. I couldn't resist. Yes.
Yeah, but Bob Monkhouse was the voiceover. How cool is that? My alter ego, played by Bob Monkhouse.